Can you do a roll call, Michelle?
Sure. Miss Langalis?
Here.
Mr. Bashnik?
Here.
Mr. Rowena?
Here.
Miss Lankowski?
Here.
Miss Wells?
Here.
Mr. Schulman?
Here.
Mr. Bryce?
Here.
And Mr. Cantor. I believe that's everybody I see on screen.
Okay, we'll call the public meeting to order. We have two public hearings tonight. The first one is 2025-40 SP Myra Garcia, 28 Bettswood Road, on a special permit application for child daycare center. It's a public hearing, and then we'll have a report of recommended action. Who is here representing?
Miss Wells, sorry
Yeah.
to interrupt. The agenda I had the Westport Avenue 186 first. I'm not sure, maybe Brian gave you an earlier version. I just wanted to make you aware that the one on the website, I believe, has 186 West Avenue first.
Okay, yeah, the one I have it's reversed. We could do 186 West Avenue. All their people are here, I see. So it's 2025-47 SP 186 Westport Avenue LLC. It's at 186 Westport Avenue, a special permit for an existing car wash to add motor vehicle repair uses. It's a public hearing, and then there'll be a report of recommended action. Who's here representing 48 Westport Avenue LLC?
Morris Pitt.
Good, you proceed, Mr. Pitt.
Yeah, so we really we just want to add on the brake service, but I think motor vehicles makes us do the general repair. Our main focus is we want to add on the brake replacement service to our existing service that we have now in the oil change business, just to have an added convenience for our customer.
And I could just shed a little more background, shed some light on the background of this one. It came to our office and we did some research, and it appeared that there was never a special permit for motor vehicle. So just to make it clean, we asked him to get a special permit for motor vehicle use. Although he's doing oil change, he's adding brake use. Nothing to the building is changing. There's no additions or change of site work. And when we looked at the approval for the car wash, the landscaping is essentially exactly the same. So it was a pretty straightforward application.
So now we're approving the use for both the oil change and the brake
Right.
work, right? Yes, for both those things,
Correct.
which is motor vehicle repair use. Okay, does anybody have any questions for Mr. Pitt? None? That's a first. Where's JJ? She usually has a question. Okay, I guess we'll go to the public hearing. Our rules for public hearing are that everybody gets to speak only once. We don't limit how long you can speak. But so say everything that you need to say in your one opportunity to speak. Give us your name and address when you begin. And we'll call it open for comments. Do you see anybody, Michelle, that?
Yes, I see one hand up so far. Again, if you'd like to make a comment on this item in particular, use the raise your hand feature or press *9 if you're dialed in on a phone. Kevin Coughlin? Bringing
Hi.
you over. Yep.
How are you tonight? Can you hear me?
Yes.
Yes.
So we're at 4 Walter Avenue, adjacent to, we abut the the car wash, and I guess one of the main questions is the hours of operation for the brake service, and is it going to be coincide with the current hours of the store? And is there any expanded hours, and are they working Sundays to do car repair?
So yes, it will be the same hours. We will not be working
Wait,
Sundays just
Sorry.
because.
Wait,
Oh,
you
sorry.
you don't speak till after the public hearing is,
Oh,
Okay.
okay. Sorry.
portion is closed.
And then we
have
would
anything
just
else?
like to note, like, yes. And then we just like to note that Mr. Morris is probably not there all the time, but there is some after hours. Some of the guys that work there kind of hang out and you know and talk and they're playing music after hours when the store's done. If they could just monitor that more closely, that would be appreciated.
Hey,
Galen, I have, if you don't mind, just a very quick question for Mr. Coughlin. I know we don't normally do this, but I just wanted to know whether he lives in a residential house or if he has an adjoining business.
No, our property abuts it, and we're off of Walter Avenue, which is in a residence. It's in a
Okay,
residential.
thank you very much.
You're welcome.
Okay. If anybody would else like to speak on this item, please use the raise your hand feature. Or press *9. I don't see any other hands from the public as well.
okay, we will then close the public participation portion of the public hearing, and Mr. Pitt, it's your turn now to respond.
Yes. So the hours of operation will be the same except for Sunday. We will not be doing brake replacements on Sundays. So it'll be the same exact hours. And concerning the guys hanging out, I will take care of that. I will have a talk with the general manager there and make sure we resolve that issue.
Okay. Do any of the commissioners have any questions? Or any concerns?
I do. Have you received, or has the city received any complaints about the guys hanging out, or any history of violations related to the current operations?
I'm not aware of anything. I don't know if Michelle is.
Thank
Thank you.
Okay, no further questions? Okay, well, then we'll close the public hearing. And would anyone like to make a motion?
I'll move to approve.
I'll
Okay.
second.
Okay, Richard moves and Lou seconds, and both Diana and Anna are seated for this matter. Michelle, do you want to bring up the resolution?
Are you able to see this?
Yes.
Yes, and I just want to note for the record, Madam Chair, that I am here and arrived at 6:05. Ms. Darius.
Thank you, Darius.
Sorry, did I miss something? We got the second.
You did miss.
Are we What are we doing?
Reviewing the resolution. I can take it
Oh,
down.
I
This is-
can't. I'm on my phone, so I didn't see it unless I swiped.
Okay.
Thank you. I'm like, everybody's quiet, but they're still moving.
We're all reading the resolution again. Does anybody have any comments about the resolution? Anything you'd like to see added or changed?
Should we just add in response to the concern that was expressed that the hours of operation shall be strictly adhered to?
I think that's fine. I don't know what that would mean for somebody hanging out after work and chatting with their coworkers. I mean, I don't think that's something we would enforce, to be honest with you.
Okay, then there's no point in inserting it.
You know, they'd have to comply with the noise ordinance if they were, you know, loud to this, but you know, that's, I don't know if that's necessarily a zoning issue at that point.
Any other comments or questions for the resolution? Okay, Michelle, could you do a roll call?
Sure. You said Miss Tabashnik and who's else seated for this one? Sorry.
Both are seated for this one. Is
Okay.
that correct? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. No, just one would be seated for this one. So we'll seat Anna for this,
Okay.
because she's recused for the next one.
Understood.
Now
Okay. We'll start with Miss Tabashnik. Or we could come back if
Yeah. It's a yes for me. Thank
Mr. Williams,
I'm going to abstain because I joined a bit late.
Mr. Owena,
Yes.
Mr. Schulman,
Yes.
Mr. Bryce,
Yes.
Mr. Cantor.
Yes.
It's unanimous.
Michelle, I think you missed me and I think you missed
Oh.
Ms. Minkowski.
No, she missed me.
And
It did. Miss Wells
Yes.
and Miss Langelis.
Yes.
Okay, good.
I think Michelle's out of practice. I have to make her come to more meetings.
I always seem a little rusty. Apologies.
Okay.
Father Nick, is it possible for you to turn your video off until your matter's up? It's just it's easier for the public to know who's on for what item. Thank you.
Okay, so we will then move on. That matter passes. Congratulations, Mr. Pitt.
Thank you, everyone.
Now, the next one is 2025-40 SP Myra Garcia, 48 Bettswood Road. That's a special permit application for a child daycare center use. There'll be a public hearing, report, and recommended action. Who is here representing 48 Bettswood Road?
Good evening. My name is Craig Flaherty. I'm with Redness and Mead Land Use Consulting Company with offices in Stamford and Wilton, standing in for my colleague Vincent Hines this evening to represent the applicant, which is Baby Beluga Family Daycare and its purveyor, Myra Garcia, who lives in the home where the daycare operates. Also joining our team tonight is Brian Dempsey of DTS Provident, who prepared traffic analysis for the proposal. We are here to speak about 43 Bettswood Drive, which in this Google area is right where the red dot is. Bettswood Drive in this view is to the south or the bottom of the screen. It's the house with the solar PV system on the south roof plane. And then you can see the existing condition of a single driveway entrance on Bettswood Road. This isn't quite where the play area is at the moment. It's a little bit to the left, so it's a little bit obsolete in terms of a aerial. And a big picture, so the access is off of Bettswood. Bettswood is close to George Ave. George Ave is a collector street, runs from Route 1 to the north, and then
quiero entrar con cámara y no puedo ponerle.
Runs from Route 1 to the north and can get you to Strawberry Hill Ave to the south. North of the property, there's a small silver land, and then you have Clearview Avenue to the north. Ms. Garcia is currently operating a family and group daycare on the site, which is permitted as of right with limitations, provided no more than 12 children are served in the daycare, and that operation is already there. So the proposal is simply to increase that operation from 12 children to 18 children under supervision, as is permitted by special permit pursuant to the Norwalk zoning regulations. There will be no change to the size or bulk or mass of the home. There will be internal improvements, and there's a floor plan that's been provided to show those internal improvements, how the space will be laid out. And there will be some site improvements associated with the proposal. Are you able to see now the site plan that I've put up?
Yes.
Yes, okay, good. So the primary improvements to the site take what is currently the single T intersection driveway, which is on the left side of the property, and make a looping driveway. We believe this will improve the drop-off and pickup on the site. Currently, it's kind of people pulling in and out of the driveway and pulling up to the curb on the street during drop-off and pickup. This will allow for that kind of loop system where people can come in and go out off the street and drop off their children close to the front door. Additionally, more parking is provided on site. So now the parking will comply with the requirements of your regulations. Provided with the application was the existing conditions land survey, the proposed conditions site plan, the zoning criteria and how they've been met. We provided a drainage report. The driveway, the existing paved driveway will be removed, and a crushed stone driveway will replace that existing paved driveway. That crushed stone will be of a type and depth to accept the rainwater and stormwater that falls on it. Our conclusion was that with implementation of the grading and drainage plan, there would be no adverse impact to adjacent or downstream properties. That conclusion and that drainage report and the site plans were reviewed by your Department of Public Works Engineering Division, and they provided to you a sign-off letter dated June 25th, where they note that the documents are in compliance with the city's current standards and drainage manual, and they have no objection to the project moving forward. I'll have our traffic consultant speak in a moment, but similarly, these plans and their report was provided by your Transportation, Mobility, and Parking Department, and they provided a sign-off letter dated June 27th, 2025, noting that the aforementioned documents are in compliance with the current city standards in relation to transportation, mobility, and parking, and TMP takes no exception to the project moving forward. The play area additionally will be relocated. It's currently in the upper left corner of the backyard. It will be moved over kind of more central in the backyard. And it's noted the size of the play area isn't materially changing, such that they would only be permitted to have less than 12 children on the play area at any one time, which is consistent with the existing condition. So in terms of outside noise, it's going to stay the same level. Outside activity is going to stay the same level. And the children would be staggered in terms of when they use the exterior play area. I will take a pause for a moment, and I will introduce our traffic consultant to speak on their report for a couple of minutes.
All right, thanks, Craig. For the record, Brian Dempsey, I'm a licensed professional engineer from the firm DTS Providence Design Engineering. As Craig said, we did do a short traffic memorandum that was submitted to the city TMP, who did review it and did approve it and gave us a sign off. Just summarizing, some of it is what Craig has already said. There will be the loop driveway put in the front. This will eliminate the concern that some people had of the cars pulling over on Bettswood Road. This way they'll come in the site and come out the site. Will not interfere with traffic on Bettswood Road. With the increase of the 6 additional children, you'd have an increase in the peak hour of about 2 to 3 vehicles dropping off, and then those same people would then go back to wherever they were coming from, or to the work, or wherever. And then that would be in the AM period. In the PM period, again, about 3 additional vehicles during that peak hour. We did do observations of the existing pickup drop off. There were no traffic issues that we observed. The additional 3 vehicles will not cause any traffic impacts either, and TMP agreed with that. And the other thing that Craig was mentioning was there'd be additional parking provided on site as required by TMP. And so it'll prevent anyone from parking on the street itself. Here to answer any questions on the traffic.
Thank you, Brian. It should also be noted that, you know, the drop off of children in the morning and the pickup of children in the evening is kind of staggered by who's showing up when. So your drop off cycle in the morning might be from 7:30 to 9:30, and similarly your pickup cycle at the end of the day might be 3:30 to 5:30. So these drop offs and pickups are spread over an hour or two, you know, making the nature of the use a little more innocuous. And we hope that the commission will allow this, what I think is a needed use for the community, access to quality and affordable daycare, to be expanded in accordance with your regulations and special permit requirements. We've listed the standards for special permit and how this complies with those standards, and I've touched on just about all of them already. I will note we did receive one written letter of opposition, which was from Mr. Blake Henry. Mr. Henry lives at 9 Overlook Drive, which is here to the north across Clearview Avenue, and does not share Bettswood Drive with the applicant. Concerns noted were noise, traffic, parking, safety, and property values. I think we've indicated how we're appropriately managing the traffic and parking and noise, and have documented in that in the in the application. We believe that loop driveway and improved parking is actually going to improve safety. The playground in the rear is fenced in, as you might imagine, but the sides of the fence towards abutting property owners are opaque, 6-foot tall wooden stockade fences to help screen children from view and vice versa, providing some buffer benefit to the neighbors. That concludes my presentation. I'd be happy to take your questions, or when you see fit, you may go to the public.
Just want to note for the record that Jackie Jordan Byron has joined us. She joined us at the beginning of this presentation. Okay.
Yeah.
Does anybody have any questions?
Galen, are we going to hear from the applicant directly?
She is on the call if you have any questions for her.
Okay. I have a couple of questions. Some might be more directed toward Steve. Galen, is it all right if I proceed?
Yes, yes, please do.
Okay, thank you. Steve, when we did the planning and zoning rewrite a year or so ago, I think 12 children was the limit that we put on daycare in residential neighborhoods, and that was increased. I can't remember if it was 6 or 8. Is that the case? Do you recall?
Yeah, and Michelle, you can, chime in at any point, but I think we went with the allowance by special permit to go from 12 to 18.
So
12 was the prior maximum in a residential zone. We allowed by special permit up to 18.
okay, thank you. So then I guess this question is for the applicant or for Mr. Flaherty. How many current employees does the daycare have? And then how many additional employees will there be with the additional 6 children?
Myra, would you like to answer that question?
Yes, good evening. And right now I have 4 employees and I will increase to 2 more.
Okay, so from 4 to 6.
Yes.
Okay, and are your employees there from 7:30 to 5:30?
No,
Or do
they have
stagger?
no, they have shift.
Okay,
It's different schedules.
okay, thank you. And then what are the age of the children that you accept? Ages?
2 months to 5 years old.
Okay. And so with the use of the backyard and the play area, I understand that you won't have all 18 children out there. Obviously, 2-month-olds don't walk, but
No.
so if you split it, let's just say, if there are 12 kids that are able to run around out there, do you have 6 and 6? Because then will there be a lot more use of the backyard?
It's by age. I cannot mix the ages for safety and by regulation. Every room has to go by themselves. If it's babies, they have to go by themselves. If it's toddlers, they have to go by toddlers. And if I have preschoolers, that is my goal. The preschoolers, they need to go by themselves too. I cannot go and having all together per se.
So you'll have up to 3 cohorts that
Yes.
would use the play area individually.
So 3 different groups, just depending on the ages of the children that you happen to have.
Yes.
Okay. And do you have any families that have more than 1 child at your daycare?
No, at this moment, but I used to have.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
Are there any other questions?
Yeah, one question. Thank you, Ms. Garcia. Building off that last question, you mentioned how you don't currently have families with more than one child at the moment. Is it typical for you to have families with more than one child at your daycare? Like maybe
Yeah.
not for now, but generally?
Yes, sometimes
Okay.
I have more than one.
Thank you.
Ms. Garcia, have you been approved by the state for the
Yes.
18 children?
No, no. And before go to the license with 18, it's required for the state to have zoning approval. Before I have to go with zoning. After I have zoning approval, fire marshal approval, and building department approval, I have to go with OEC to increase my the children's here. I have to do all the process first with zoning and then with OEC.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
One more follow-up question, Galen, please.
Yes, no,
And
please.
so- Thank you. Ms. Garcia, so if you receive our approval and then the state approval, then you still have to submit your plans to convert the garage, and that's just strictly a city thing?
Yes.
That would be your last step.
Yes, I know.
Okay.
Yes,
It
I know.
it has not been converted yet, the garage space.
No.
Thank you. And you live upstairs in the house,
Yes,
and you plan to stay living there?
forever until I die.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
I have an additional question for you, Ms. Garcia. How long does it take for someone to drop off or pick up their child?
The most is 10 minutes, the most.
Okay.
If I always said if they have questions or concerns, they can catch me with emails or texts or call me. But it's just the most 10 minutes.
And when we did the observations, it was usually much less than that. You know, they usually come in, drop off, go, you know. And it depends on the age of the child too.
Thank you, Mr. Dempsey.
So I have a question. So are there any activities that are planned that are outside of your facility that you would need a van to transport?
No, no.
Everything happens with,
Can you repeat it, please?
does everything happen within the confines of this center, or do you have to transport the children to an activity away from the center by way of van?
No, no. The only thing that I do sometimes is walk to the neighborhood, but the parents know I have permission for the parents, and the OEC knows that sometimes I walk with the children around the neighborhood, but no transportation because that is another process that I have to do. And I do not have appropriate cars and car seats for transport the children, and it's a lot of money with my insurance. And no, the children's, I do not remove the children's from the daycare. The parents have to remove the children's.
So there's no other transportation coming in and out other than the parents dropping off their children?
Yes, no. I do not move the children's in cars. No, absolutely no.
Thank you.
Anything else? We could begin the public participation portion of this public hearing. Again, I'll say that you can speak, but you only get to speak once. So say everything that you intend to say or that you feel is important for you to say during the one time to speak, but be as concise as you possibly can. give us your name and address when you begin to speak. Okay, Michelle?
Yes. I see we have a handful of hands up already, but if you'd like to say a comment on this item, please use the raise your hand feature and we'll bring you over to speak. If you're dialed in on a phone, press *9. And I'll just start from the top and work down. I'm bringing over Vernetta. Just have to unmute.
Hello.
Hi. Yes, we could hear you.
You can hear us? Okay.
Although there's some feedback.
Yeah, I'm gonna cut mine's off right here. Trying. Is that better? Give your name.
Yes.
Yes.
Give us your name and address, please.
Sure. Gregory and Vernetta Johnson, 45 Bettswood Road.
Okay. Thank you. Go ahead.
Okay, we live right next door to Miss Garcia and the daycare. And I just want to start off with a disclaimer that she's a very nice lady. I met her husband, I met her daughter, and they have a dog. They've been nice neighbors. She asked me a couple weeks ago to support her in her endeavor. At the time, I said I would, but I didn't know the exact extent of her business endeavors. I was under the impression that she had a small operation of like 6 kids or something like that. And, you know, I would hear, you know, the parents bringing in the and picking up the children. You can hear that, and you can, because I live next door, you can see the children in the backyard and hear them as well. When I got the letter and I saw that it was going to go up to potentially 18 kids, and now you're talking 18 kids with potentially 6 staff plus her family, it just seems like it's a bit much for a residential neighborhood. I don't know if you're familiar with Bettswood Road, but it's a very narrow street. There are no sidewalks at all on the street, and for the most part on George Avenue, there's not really any sidewalks. So I'm just, and there's nothing against Miss Garcia. I'm actually happy that she's an entrepreneur, but I think in this application going to 18 from 12, the noise, the congestion, I mean, you can't really reconcile 18 kids plus 6 staff plus the family. I mean, and I looked on the city, the property is only 1,400 square feet, and the acreage is 0.37. So it's not a large space. I mean, my house is about 10 feet away from hers, the side of my house to the side of her house. And if we had long arms, we could almost shake hands. So, I mean, you can't reconcile that many children with that staff, with the houses close together in that small space in a residential area. And like I said, it's nothing against Miss Garcia. I have we don't get a chance to talk that much because me and my wife are busy professionals, but they've been very nice people. And I support her endeavors. But, when I looked into it more, I said, well, I don't want to shoot myself in the foot, because whatever decision you guys make, we have to live with it. So, I mean, I'm sure that you guys, after this meeting, when you go home, you're going to get in your cars and go to your home. More than likely it's in a residential neighborhood, and you expect a certain amount of serenity. One of the reasons why me and my wife moved here is because we expected a certain amount of serenity. I don't know how familiar you are with Bettswood Road, but there's some houses here, several houses that are at the $1 million mark or more. And usually people who buy in at that price point, they look for a certain level of serenity. And 18 kids, it just seems like a proper business. It seems like, okay, like if I had a barbershop and my business was thriving, after a while, I would have to say, I can't really cut hair out of my home. I would have to transition to some type of commercial building because it would just get too much, especially this particular street. It's not a major street at all. Most of the people that go up down Bettswood Road live on Bettswood Road because it's a very narrow street. If you had two pickups coming the opposite way, pickup trucks, you would have to slow down because it's a very narrow road. And I just, I talked to the rest of the neighbors and, they seem to have the same sentiment that I have. And like I said, it's nothing against Miss Garcia at all. I hope she's not offended. But I've learned in life to be honest, because if you don't be honest and you don't say nothing, then if things start hurting you, then you can't complain later. So I said, while I do support her endeavors, I honestly feel, and this is not with any kind of malice or any kind of wishing someone wrong, I just think in this application, it's a bit much. It's getting too big for the space.
Okay, thank you.
All right, we'll bring Andrea over.
Yeah.
Hi, this is Andrea and Noah Goldman. We live at 40 Bettswood Road, Norwalk, Connecticut. We are adjacent. We have a couple different things. We do want to start the conversation out that we were aware of the daycare. We actually promoted her daycare when it was smaller. We put a sign out on our corner street because we're on George and Bettswood. We were okay with a small daycare. We did not realize that it had grown to 12, and we definitely were not aware of the increase to 18. And as Greg had mentioned, we all got the paperwork and we were unaware of the ability to do this. I actually have a very good friend, my son's 17 years old, and he used to go to Carousel Daycare in Norwalk, and she now runs the one over by the one that went into the Bright, I don't know what it is, Bright something, over by where the New York Jones was on by McDonald's on Westport Ave. And she was surprised when I told her that the number was going to 18. She was under the impression it was still only 6. So we were concerned about that. We also noticed that on the paperwork that you prevented with the driveway altercations, you did not, it does not express to where it's going to line up. We have another next door neighbor, John, that lives next to us, and both of our driveways are next to him. And I would want to know where the cars are going to be pulling out, because we back in and then we drive out. And sometimes if there's cars there, it makes it challenging. That was one of the things that it wasn't clear on the footprint of where the driveway was going to be going to. 1 second, I just got to get my notes up. So that was the one thing. I'm bringing my notes up 1 second. I also want to bring up, I recognize the value of daycare in our community, but I do have the concerns of the negative impact of this expansion would have on our residential neighborhood. I do have traffic and safety concerns. Increasing the number will lead to more traffic during drop off and pickup. And our street is quite narrow, as previously mentioned. And if it would cause additional congestion and risk to people walking by. There are no driveways. There are no sidewalks on the road for pedestrians. There are no sidewalks on George for pedestrians. I know currently some of the employees walk up the street. And I do think that, it's not a great neighborhood for additional employees. Additional employees. Let me see. I also didn't realize, I thought it was only I thought the age was up to 3. I did not realize it was going all the way up to 5. I don't know if that was a change recently, but I was unaware of that. And then I know that the hours are quite long. I don't know if she'll be working all of the hours, but they are quite long. And and so that does bring up a concern. Noah, do you have anything that I have left off?
No, it's, like has already been mentioned, it's the size of the street. I personally question if you're adding 2 employees and an additional 6 students, if it's only going to be 3 additional cars. I think it seems like it might be more than that in reality. And also the effect it will have on the value of everybody's house, because when we look at the new layout, it makes it look much more commercial and more like a school than a house.
Okay, thank you very much.
Okay. Now we have Keith Baker. We have Ryan. It looks like we lost Keith. But Ryan, please unmute when you can.
Hi, can everyone hear me?
Yes.
Great. My name is Ryan Henderson. I want to speak to the positive experience that my family has had with Myra Garcia and baby Beluga.
If your address,
So,
please.
yeah, my wife and I moved to 20 Walnut Avenue a little over 2 years ago, very close to the Betswood area. We have a very active and curious toddler. He's approaching 2 years of age. And finding childcare was a really stressful experience for us. We really just wanted a space where we felt comfortable leaving our son, knowing that he will develop social skills, have a sense of wonderment fostered, and be around people who care for him. We enrolled our son at Baby Beluga in September of 2024, and since then it has met and exceeded our expectations. We feel so fortunate to have this daycare in our neighborhood, and the fact that we can walk to pick up our son is huge. It has been an incredible experience to have this daycare near and close to us, and we do believe that the expansion would be a net positive for young families around here. I appreciate everyone's time. Thank you.
Right. Keith Baker.
Hi, can you hear me? This is Keith Baker.
Yes.
Yes, oh, thank you. I was having trouble unmuting before. My name is Keith Baker. I live at 34 Betswood Road, diagonally across the street from the daycare. I just wanted to start by saying that, I have two primary concerns. My first is as a father. I'm a single father with primary custody of my children. Their mom lives outside of the district, so they get on and off the bus every day. And my children walk to the bus stop, which is at the corner of Betswood and George, as shown on the map earlier. So my kids have to walk by the daycare at the peak times of the daycare because it's at the pickup and drop off times. There aren't any sidewalks, and I'm just concerned that the additional traffic will lead to safety concerns for my children. I have two boys; they are ages 11 and 9, and so that's my first concern as a father. My second concern is as a homeowner. I've lived there for 13 years, and I'm just concerned that the alterations of the property will make it more of a commercial feeling. One of the appealing things to me when I bought the property was its family nature, and it's a very narrow road with a residential feeling in community. I know all of my neighbors, and I just have concerns that these alterations will negatively affect the resale value of my home. I just wanted to conclude by saying that I don't have any objections to the daycare as it is today. It does occasionally affect the bus because the bus has to turn from George Ave and go down Betswood Road past 43 Betswood Road, past the daycare, and there are some traffic things that where traffic gets clogged there. So but in its current state, I think that it's about the maximum that the street and things could allow. So thank you for the time.
Bringing over Alyssa Rivenberg.
Hi.
Hello.
Thank you so much for your time today. And my name's Elisa Grevenberg. I live in the Silvermine area of Norwalk, but my daughter's gone to Baby Beluga for about 2 years now. I'm in favor of this proposal because Norwalk needs more childcare. When I returned to work after maternity leave, I really struggled to find a daycare for my daughter. I experienced waitlist after waitlist, and it was really stressful for me. And as a Norwalk resident, this really could have jeopardized my ability to earn for my family and then reinvest that in the local economy. I like that this daycare is in my community and is a small business. This provides employment opportunities and reinvestment in our community. A local business that's not a franchise, that doesn't have any accountability to its community. I will say Myra genuinely cares about every child and her neighbors, the ones that are calling in today to oppose this plan. She genuinely cares about them in her larger Norwalk community. I love seeing that families that go to her daycare are able to walk there. And I wish one of the daycares around me that is walking distance could have accepted my daughter. And if I had the opportunity, I would walk to Myra's too. When we're able to walk to our daycare or places to work, we're taking cars off the road, which reduces pollution. Obviously, that's beneficial for all of us, but it also has the ability to influence motorists to change their behavior and slow down for all of us, making it safer for pedestrians, especially on some of these roads that don't have sidewalks or maybe more narrow. And to do it without ugly speed humps or like extra signage that brings down the value of all of our homes. You know, the parents that are dropping off kids, they're looking out not just for their own children, but they're conscious of what's going out on the road and all around us, keeping an eye on, you know, other people's kids and pets and what's going on in their properties, keeping an eye out for things that look suspicious and acting as an informal neighborhood watch for everyone in the community. As far as parking, you know, in my experience over the last 2 years, parents are consistently using the driveway. When I drop off, if anyone else is there, maybe there's one other parent, and I would say on average, I might spend about 5 minutes dropping off my child, and that's pretty consistent with every other family. And rarely if I see anyone parking on the street, again, it's about 5 minutes, they're in and out. Over the last 2 years, I've also become really familiar with the other parents' cars. And when I see cars parked on the street on Bettswood Drive, it's not the parents that attend this daycare. It's other neighbors in the area. So I do want to call attention that, you know, there are people parking on the street, but based on, you know, my observations and over the last 2 years, it's typically not the parents for more than a 5-minute span, if they are even doing that. I've never seen daycare parents hold up traffic, block traffic, or prevent people from accessing George Ave or any other cross streets. In that time, you know, traffic is not, it's occurring when everyone else is going to and from work. So, you know, a lot of people may not even be noticing that it's happening and probably isn't impacting most people's experience and their ability to live, you know, a tranquil life. As far as the noise, when I have, you know, my kid gets sick, it happens to all of them, and I've maybe gone to daycare to pick her up midday. I haven't heard any loud or obtrusive noises, you know, from exiting my car and walking to the building. I have really only heard daycare noises from when I get to the front door and ring the bell, and that's on a rare occasion. You know, I do want to call out too, there's a lot of the children who are still learning to speak and vocalize and don't have the capability to make noise. So, you know, for residents who say they may not have been aware that the daycare had been granted the ability to hold however many children, it could be because, you know, they don't make noise yet. They don't know how. It's actually a lot more quiet than you would think. I'd say as a first-time parent, I was surprised at how quiet daycare could be. And if anyone hears anyone being loud, it's most likely my child. And so I will say, put this out there. I'm sorry. As you might be able to tell, she comes from a talkative family. you know, when I've gone to attend, they've done like a spring party, you know, it's actually quite subdued. It's not creating a lot of noise. And since I work from home the majority of time, I've also had the privilege of being able to go on walks, as Miss Garcia talked about, with the daycare, and it was very quiet. The group did not make a lot of noise, so I can also attest to my firsthand experience of the noise that is created by the daycare is quite minimal outside of the actual the home. Their play area has a really good amount of space between any of the neighbors, and on one side is backed by a road, so the actual noise is, you know, pretty diluted, and you know, it would have to be a very loud sound in order to reach into someone's home for them to be able to hear it. The playground's on the back side of the lot. No, like immediately adjacent neighbors. As far as like cleanliness, I've never seen trash out of the bin. It's always super tidy. And you know, I feel like I've become a part of the neighborhood from, you know, going there the last 2 years and making visiting a part of my routine, and feel, you know, that I am also responsible for making sure that your neighborhood stays safe, driving responsibly, and keeping my eye out, and make, you know, for anything out of the ordinary, and, you know, contributing to our community. So I am in favor for the additional spaces and the modifications to this daycare facility.
Bringing over Michael Mason.
Can you hear me? Can you hear me now?
Yep.
Hi. My name's Michael Mason. I live on 85 George Avenue, which is just right around the corner from the daycare center. And I will tell you that George Avenue is a very, very, very busy street. It always has been. It is a considered an evacuation route. And right where this daycare and where you're proposing it, I've driven around that corner many times, and you can't get two cars around that corner together. I will tell you that right now. It's very, very close and very narrow. So I can't even see where a design of this type, where you're going to have two entrances for a round driveway, is going to really help the situation. I've gone around that corner before, and I have actually had to stop kind of, and if there was anybody behind me, they'd be stopping in George Avenue in order to, you know, so it would be backed up. Another thing is that there's no sidewalks, there's no safety. I walk my dog down around there, and I'll tell you that it's so tight on Bettswood Avenue that when a car comes by, I have to curb my dog in order to, you know, make him safe. So it's very, I don't know. You know, you got to look at this neighborhood. This neighborhood is a group of private residents, and I don't think that anybody here is opposed to a daycare. But what we're talking about here is a daycare center, and you know, that just starts getting involved with a personal business and everything else. I know that, you know, nobody would like it if I started a personal business on my front lawn or anything, and nothing against anybody, but is everybody still there?
Yes.
Sorry. You know, I did send a letter. And the other thing is that I don't think the canvassing was done very appropriately. I don't know where it says in the zoning rules and regulations that you do it within 100 feet, because there's a lot of other people around here that would affect that did not get a letter. I didn't get canvassed. I didn't know until they put that sign up. And by the time that I, you know, got around to sending something and everything, I guess my letter got lost in the sauce. But I sent pictures and everything else of cars going by that area, and you know, it wasn't even noticed. And nothing against you, Mr. Dempsey, I guess it was, but you know, I know you did a traffic study and everything, but you don't live in the neighborhood, and I wish you all would come up here and just take a look at that area and you know, look at it yourself. I mean, also, you know, this real estate up in here, I'm worried about, you know, losing property value and everything, as well as everybody else. I mean, everybody touts Bettswood area, Bettswood area, Bettswood area. Well, this is now a business. And I'm not, you know, I mean, I'm not opposed to anybody being an entrepreneur. I have my own business for myself for years. But I do think that this is getting to the point to whereas, you know, it's going to be too business-like, so to speak, for the residential area. I don't know. I don't know if I have any more to add here.
Thank you. Jan Fior? Just have to unmute. Jan, do we have you?
You unmute? I think she's muted.
Yeah, can you hear me?
Yes.
Jan Fiore and John Fiore, we're at 41 Bettswood, next door to the Garcias. And this is beyond awkward for us because we have had a personal relationship with them since moving in. We like the entire family very much. And from everything I've heard, they do a wonderful job with the daycare. Now, I have certain things to say, but I would like to start with the one thing about which I am very upset. And I'm just learning about it tonight, which is that the age range is now, according to Myra, up to 5 years old. She has always guaranteed us that the daycare would be infants to 3 years old maximum, not the older children. Now, her husband has told me that they operate a second daycare in Norwalk. And at that second daycare, which Myra oversees, they accept children up to 5 years old. So I don't know if this is a matter of closing down the other one and bringing over some of the children who were at location number 2. But I really am upset that we were assured that possibly having to do with the noise level, that this would not be a group of children any older than 3 years old. I like these people. I really like these people. And in an ideal world, everybody should have what they want. But you're asking for a 50% increase in the number of children, which consequently means an increase in traffic and parking. And the gentleman who spoke before is right on target. You're talking about a piece of property which is 0.37 acres. It is 18 feet and a tad more across. I don't know if I can get you to see this. If I hold this in front of the camera, is that what? I don't have the camera? Is that possible for you to see? No. All right. Many years ago, or several years ago, when they redid our street, Drew Brindlemeyer, if anybody remembers the name, was out here twice to talk to us about it. And he told us that they were going to be putting in curbs. And we literally almost begged him to not put in the curbs because it was going to decrease the width of the road. This is a tiny road. The gentleman who spoke about how difficult it is to get 2 vehicles to go by each other is absolutely true. It's a very narrow road going out to George Ave, coming in from George Ave is tricky at best in the morning because it is so busy. And I would say at least 3 times had to brake hard or use my horn because I on 2 on 2 occasions, I came in from George Ave and somebody was pulling out very quickly from Garcia's driveway. And when I mean brake hard, I had to brake hard. I have had the same experience coming out of my own driveway heading to George Ave. People are dropping off their kids in the morning. I understand that they have to get to work. But the woman who spoke previously, I can't remember her name, Brevenberg, she's not there all the time. She's there, as she said, 5 minutes to drop off. So she doesn't see the totality of what we have to deal with in terms of the traffic. I think Redness and me did a absolutely brilliant job with their application, but I don't think they showed up anytime when drop off in the morning was taking place. I don't think they saw how long it takes, and very often it's longer than 5 minutes to open up the car door, unbuckle, take a child out, go inside. I've seen people there for 10 minutes, even longer. And he's right about this horseshoe. If they are coming in from the George Ave side and people are coming around the corner, there's very potentially a backup, and that's completely dangerous. I have no problem with the noise level because the children are so young. If it increases to include 4- and 5-year-olds, that's a different story. Do we want this 50% increase? Absolutely not. I am very aware that there's a crying need for childcare. I am in sympathy for that, but I don't think that it has to be increasing, that the increase in the traffic, and they're not all great drivers, whether they're coming in from George Ave or whether they're not coming 20 miles per hour up Betswood Road. I don't think that this increase should be at the expense of the safety of the people who live and walk in this neighborhood. Thank you.
Bringing over John Gord. John,
Hello?
yes, we can hear you.
Okay, my name is John Gordy. I live at 38 Betswood Road, directly across from the daycare. And I can see every day what transpires at that daycare. They're nice people. I commend them for having, the courage to be an entrepreneur. But when that woman spoke and said it's 5 minutes in and out, that's not true. I see it every morning. I see it every night. It could be 10 minutes, 15 minutes. Traffic gets backed up. Cars park on the street. As my neighbor Keith says, his boys get off the bus. And I've told him to tell the kids to run through my yard because I'm afraid that they're going to get hit. There are a lot of people that love to walk their dogs in this neighborhood. And there is no sidewalks. This is a very narrow street. And you have to be really careful. And to add another 50% of not just the children, but the cars. Now you're adding 50% more exhaust in my neighborhood. The people that are saying this is wonderful don't live here. I live here, and I've lived here for a long time. And I love my neighbors and I love my neighborhood. But to increase this is just an abomination in my mind. And additionally, this is a very nice residential neighborhood. And if this plan goes through and this horseshoe gets built, it will no longer be a residential neighborhood. It will now start to become a commercial neighborhood. And that's not what this place is. This is a tranquil, beautiful neighborhood, and we've all worked hard to live here. And to turn it into a business area is not right. It's not good for me. It's not good for the air. It's not good for my neighbors. And it's certainly not going to be good for my property values. So I am totally against this. In fact, when I back out of my driveway, which is directly across from the daycare center, I have to stop, look both ways, and then look in my rearview mirror. And then I do it again, because there have been more than one occasion where I've done that, and I start to back out of my driveway and I have to slam on my brakes because someone who dropped their kids off and is late for work has decided to just gun the engine and pull right out into Betswood. And I've almost been hit on a number of occasions. And to add another 50% automobiles here on this narrow street, it's unsafe and it's unwise and it's not good for the neighborhood. Thank you.
So I don't see any additional hands, but I'll make another announcement. If you'd like to make a public comment on this item, please use the raise your hand feature or press *9 and we'll bring you over to speak. Seeing none, Ms. Wells.
Okay, thank you. We'll close the public participation portion of the meeting and go to the rebuttal. Mr. Flaherty.
Thank you, Madam Chairwoman. I'll clarify a few things for the record, and then I'll ask Myra if she has remarks that she would like to make in response. So to clarify, the hours of operation are 7:30 to 5:30. That is existing and that is proposed, and they do not change. So before and after those hours, there is little to no effect on the residential neighborhood. The Michael Mason, who is at 85 George Avenue, his property is located more than 300 feet from the site, which is why he did not receive written notice. But just to clarify for the record, there are 4 written emails or letters in the public comment in this record available online, and those were from Michael Mason, Christine Young, Blake Henry, and Ryan Henderson, who spoke in favor, and you heard from him. The additional trips noted in the traffic analysis were for the peak hour. So you remember the drop off kind of extends over a couple of hours. So yes, it might be 4 or 5 or 6 cars for the entire drop off or the entire pickup, because the analysis is, as you know, typically only done for the peak hour. The street, Betswood Road, is just about 20 feet wide, which is narrow for a city road, but it is suitable for 2-way traffic. And very specifically, we believe that the improvements being offered by this application, and I'll bring up the site plan again. The improvements being made by this application specifically addressed some of the concerns that we heard about stacking in the road and the narrowness of the road. There will be 7 unobstructed parking spaces on the proposed site for people to park for as long as they want and go in and out of the home. That is not the case today. Similarly, there will be an in and an out in the horseshoe driveway, which has room for 3 or 4 cars, again, pulling those off the road, improving conditions in the road for everybody. Yes, the number of kids is going up by 50%. The cars in and out of the site might go up by 50%, but of course, we're not nearly changing the volume of traffic either in Betswood or George by nearly that amount. I just wanted to be clear on that point. And then Somebody asked where that second driveway would be located. I think it was the owners of 40 right here across the street. They have a driveway off of George, and they have a auxiliary driveway here off of Betswood. But if we overlaid the site plan on this aerial, it's basically right where my cursor is. I can drop down to Street View. You see this dogwood tree here. It's going to be just to the right of that dogwood there, which is generally across the street from that auxiliary driveway at 40. This is where you come in, the drop off right near the front door, behind the front yard setback. So you still have an expansive lawn, and then out. So there are provisions in your regulations to allow a daycare in an owner-occupied home for up to 18 children. And you heard that those children range from age of 2 months, which seems to me would have very little active impact, to up to 5 years. And you allowed this number in your regs because you saw the community need. There's provision for this in your regs, and we believe we've addressed the special permit standards of review as discussed in this application. So Myra, if you have anything else to add, you can add it now. One question I had for you was the time of day that the kids typically use the playground. I think you told me was, between 10 and 2. It's midday, so it's not near the shoulder of the day in terms of outdoor activity. Are you able to confirm that for me?
Yes, that is correct.
Okay, thank you very much. And if you think either you think I've missed anything that's important to point out, I'd offer that you provide that testimony now, or Mr. Dempsey, if there's anything I missed that you would like to point out, please offer that testimony now.
Just briefly, Craig pretty much covered what I was going to say, but in response to some of the comments, we had engineers out there observing during pickup and drop off. I've been out there observing the site, so we have been out there. We have watched. One of the times there was a car parked on Betswood Road. It was actually somebody who lives or was visiting someone on George Avenue who walked over, actually got into the car that was in front of the daycare. It had nothing to do with the daycare. The horseshoe loop would resolve most of the comments of what the neighbors are saying, because it would take the traffic off of Betswood Road at the travel way. This was something TMP was very in favor of also. And as we said before, they've signed off on it. They agreed with our findings, and that this would work well. Betswood Road is about 19 to 20 feet wide. It's actually the same travel width as George Avenue. The difference is Betswood Road has the curbs now. George Avenue has the shoulders, but the travel widths are actually the same on each road there. But again, with the loop in front, it removes the cars from anyone from parking on Betswood Road. Then there would be no need for that, and it would remove a lot of the considerations. A bunch of the neighbors thought there was only 6 kids there. There are the 12 kids there, and they have not noticed any traffic issues. Having the additional 6 children there would not result in any traffic issues either, as we documented.
I was muted. Thank you, Mr. Dempsey. Myra, if you don't have anything to add, we can conclude our presentation or ask any final questions. The commission can ask any final questions.
If you have any questions, you can do it right now, and I am happy to answer. I do not have another daycare. It's just this one. I just want to clarify that it's just this daycare that what I have.
Louis, you're muted, Lou. Lou, you're muted.
I'm sorry, Ms. Garcia, one of the speakers was under the impression that you had indicated to them that you only had children up to age 3.
Yes.
Can you explain that?
Now that I wanna that with this increasement, the children will increase in capacity, and I will go up to 5 years old.
So right now, you don't have children that are over 3 years old?
No.
Okay, thank you. The other question I had is, again, I think one of the speakers made a comment about the number, the 12 that you currently had. They were under the impression that there were fewer than 12. Has the number of children in the daycare center grown since you opened it?
Always I've been having 12 kids, and all my neighbors knows that I have 12 kids. Because since I moved here, I told them that I have 12 children.
Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
Can you clarify how many staff you have per
Like I have right now, I have 4 staff.
Yeah, you
And
noted
so-
that they potentially run in shifts, so, what would be the maximum that might be there at a given time?
If I have when I have the 6 kids more, I have to increase. Like I have a 1 part-time person, and it's like 3 and 3 in both in the sides. I will have 3 people in one room on one side and 3 people in the other side, plus the person who is like part-time. Because in the place where I have the infants, by regulation, all the time I have to, I need to have 3 people by regulation, plus the person who comes here to do the part-time.
So,
What you say?
so most days you have 3 people though, but
No.
you have a 4th person part-time.
Yes, because it's my husband, my child, my daughter, plus me, plus the other people that I pay.
And if you were running a full complement of 18 children in the 2 sides of the home, there would be 6 people there to manage that.
Yes. Plus me, plus my family.
Yeah, of course.
And the renovation is contingent upon the approval of this application.
Yes.
And Ms. Garcia, can you, given the 12 children that you have now, how many come at 7:30, how many come at 8:30, and how many come at 9:30, roughly? Like, is there a pattern? Is it the same every day? Is it different Monday, Tuesdays, different than Thursday, Friday? What can you share with us?
It's by contract, and I have 2 in the mornings, 2 children, 2 families to come at 7:30 to 5:30. The other one comes at 8. The other one's at 8:30. The other ones is like sometimes 9:45 to 9. I have 2 families that are coming 9, and the other ones between 9:30 and 9:15, 9 to 9:15.
And what about at the end of the day?
It's the same thing. They start to come like around 3. Some of them 3, 3:30, 4, 4:30, 5, and 5:30. Those are the last families to leave.
That you contract on a half-hour basis, and
Yes.
and that might be when you may or may not need the full 3 people on each side if you've only got a couple of kids there for the first hour or last hour, or
No, by regulation, I need to
you still have to
those.
have them, yeah, okay,
Yes, it's by regulation.
understood.
Is that thing you regulate the zoning, the children's, and the requirements that I have to get in the building, but OEC regulates the way that I care the children.
So the state requires a certain number of employees
Yes,
per child.
yes.
So Myra, I have a question about the parking. Do you try to enforce no street parking? Because
Yes.
today around 4:30, I drove down Bettswood and there was a large pickup truck parked halfway on the lawn, halfway on the street with the lights flashing. And I waited until an adult came out with a child, which was only a few minutes. But my concern is that even with a circular driveway, if people see another car in the driveway, they may be tempted to park on the street.
No, I always ask my parents to go in the driveway. I always said, and I will encourage, and I will put it in the contract if it's possible that they never park in the street. I always ask the parents that please, for consideration of my neighbors, to park in the driveway. And now that I will have more parking lot, more space, it will be much easier for me and for the families to go pull up. If they need to speak with me, they have to go and park in the parking lot that it will be designed for them to be sitting down, to be in the park.
I
I think
noticed,
just to follow up on that with the proposal, obviously managing driver behavior can be imperfect, but what we can do is prepare a site plan that allows for good behavior and improves that behavior. So again, this is the existing situation. It is a single width driveway with kind of a larger space at the end for stacking. So one car, you got to wait for that person to be done to come out. The proposal again, in this space, there will be 7 cars. You can park individually in any one of those 7 parking spaces and be unobstructed and be able to get out. So if you have to pull in and go in and talk for a little bit, there is opportunity now to do that in the new site plan. And this really can truly be for drop off and pick up only. So again, we believe the proposal improves on the existing condition.
Thank you.
Craig, I assume that semicircle is not wide enough for 2 vehicles?
It is not. We're restricted by needing to have the driveway get behind the front yard setback. So it's 1 vehicle at a time through there.
yeah, I understood from some of the letters that people were concerned about people backing out of the single driveway. So the U-shaped driveway would really improve the situation considerably.
Yeah, and there's room to turn around in the larger courtyard in the back too as well.
Mr. Flaherty, was it the applicant's idea for the driveway, or was that a requirement of either TMP or the state to facilitate the numbers? How did that arrive?
Ms. Garcia told us that she'd like to have the driveway, and it's always been included in our application.
Okay, so it's Ms. Garcia's idea to do that.
Is that correct,
It's
Myra?
not, it wasn't a requirement from some governmental authority.
I'm sorry, what you
The
said?
loop driveway is something you want.
Yes, I wanted that just for drop off and have more space for the families and the neighborhood and the traffic, to have that loop and to help the drop off.
Thank you.
And I just want to clarify that my daughter is working right now as a staff.
And living in the home.
Yes, she is working as a staff. That means that I will have like 5.
Additional people that might come to the property.
Yes, it's like she's a staff, and I have 4, and I will have her as a staff. It's like a 6, no more than 6 employees. That's it. No more than 6 employees. I just want to clarify that I will not have no more than 6 employees.
How many of the 6 live in the home?
Just her.
1.
Just my daughter.
Not including yourself?
Oh, me and my husband. He works as a staff too. He and me, but sometimes I have to move from room to room. That's why I am like a director. I have to check that everything is smooth.
Okay.
For taking on children that are age 4 and 5, if you wanted to, that's something that you would have to have approved by OEC. Is that correct?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. It has to be. Everything is, I don't decide.
And the semicircular driveway couldn't be made 2-lane without interfering with the setback.
Correct.
Further questions? Any further questions from anybody before I close the public hearing? Okay, the public hearing is closed. Do I hear a motion?
To close a public hearing?
No, to approve or disapprove.
Do we have a resolution?
Yeah, I thought we'd get a motion and then pull up the
Yeah.
resolution.
Yeah, well then I will move.
Okay, good. Thanks, Darius. Is there a second?
This is Chapin, I'll second.
Okay. Can we pull?
Just sorry, I apologize for interrupting. That was a move for approval?
Yes.
Yes. I wanted to pay a Susan. Okay, can we pull up the? Okay, can everybody see that?
We could zoom it in a bit more. Thank you.
Okay, does anybody have any further questions or requests for additions to this resolution?
Galen, I just have a question. Is there a sign advertising Baby Beluga on the property, or will there be a sign? Is that something that the applicant wants?
Tammy, when I drove by, there was a sign.
Okay, sorry, I missed that. All right. And
It
is
looked, as I recall, I think it was a lawn sign.
It
Yeah,
was
when I
okay.
drove by I did not notice it when I drove by, so quite small.
It's dwarfed by the zoning sign.
Oh, yeah.
Maybe that's what I was looking at. Okay. I would just say that I think it would be good to maintain a small sign, because if the neighbors feel that it's, you know, a business, and then it would keep the residential feel of the neighborhood to have a very small sign. And I'm sure that the parents that are going there know where it is, that it doesn't need to be further advertised.
Maybe this is a question to Steve or Michelle, but are signs beyond like a lawn sign allowed in CD1S?
I'll have to double check. I know that there used to have certain signs within residential zones for like home occupations, which this would probably fall under. But I can make an
Maybe,
addition that it, you know, complies with the sign regulations of the zone.
yes, if there's a mailbox in the setback, or then possibly a sign attached to that, or something that's not too much of a draw, but still gets the job done.
Right, not obtrusive.
Yeah.
Yeah, that fits with the scale. Tammy, did you have specific language of what you were looking for?
Me? No.
Yeah, in that condition, right? Didn't you suggest a condition for this a minute ago, or did I mishear you?
I'm not sure if I was suggesting a condition. I was wondering if there were, you know, any city regulations around that.
I misheard you then.
Would have to fit the regulations, because the regulations are the regulations. So
Yep.
I think it helps us to put that in the resolution, that the sign will fit the regulations.
I think it would be helpful.
Okay, do you want to get, you want to work out some, like, Michelle?
Sure, just that any sign would be modest and within the city regulation advertising the business. Or
For some reason, this document's not letting me edit live, so I will put that into writing once I have the capability to. But understood, as long as everyone's okay with that. I'm not sure why it's not letting me type.
Okay, is there any other comment or request for change? If not, let's take a roll call vote. And Diana, you're seated for this vote.
All right. So let's start with Miss, and this is to approve. Miss Jordan Byron.
Hi. I did come in a little late and did miss the presentation from her legal team, so I'm going to abstain.
Okay. Mr. Williams.
Yes.
Mr. Schulman.
I'd like to say a couple of things. I think in some respects, the street is almost the worst example of where a daycare program should go for a number of reasons. Unfortunately, the application seems to meet all of the requirements for a special permit. So I'm going to be a reluctant yes. I also wanted to say, and Steve, correct me if I'm wrong about this, because a number of residents have brought it up here, and it comes up with some frequency in other public hearings. And that is, we cannot consider the effect on property values of a project unless there is expert testimony regarding property values. A statement by residents that it's going to affect their property values should not be considered by us in reaching a determination. And again, with that, I'm reluctantly voting yes.
Mr. Bryce,
Yes.
Mr. Cantor,
Yes.
Ms. Langallis.
I'm a little bit on the fence like Lou. I do understand the need for childcare in the city. And, you know, if the yard were an acre as opposed to 0.37, I think it might be easier to accept. I hear the neighbors' concerns, but honestly, 6 cars twice a day, it's not like 60 cars twice a day. So I am going to reluctantly say yes as well.
Mr. Rowena,
I am going to say no. And I'm going to say no because I thought I voted against this special permit amendment that we did because I felt it took a kind of innocuous home occupation and changed it into a business. And watching Mr. Flaherty's presentation in terms of solving the traffic issue with the turnaround, it just made my skin crawl. A big driveway so that people can, so more cars can get in and out. Unobstructed parking for 7 cars on a 0.37 acre lot in one of the most bucolic neighborhoods in Norwalk. So I don't need an expert to tell me about property values. I've practiced law in Norwalk for 52 years. So I vote no, vehemently. I'm not on the fence.
Ms. Lankowski,
I'm very much on the fence, but I'm going to vote yes.
and Ms. Wells.
Well, I am not on the fence. I am in favor of this. My daughter used to live on Betswood Road when she had 2 little small children. This was quite some time ago. There were lots of little children in the neighborhood. Having a daycare you could walk to is a real boon for any neighborhood. I think the driveway solves, the U-shaped driveway solves a very real concern about people backing around to the Betswood Road. And there's a tremendous need for childcare in Norwalk. So I vote yes, not on the fence. Happily vote yes.
It passes.
Well, wait, did Dick vote and Bryce Chapin vote?
I think I got everybody.
Yes, there was 1 abstention, 1
Against.
negative, and then everybody else was positive.
Okay.
Thank you for your time. Good night.
Of the Darius vote?
Yes.
Okay.
Okay, good.
Yes, I voted in favor of the application. I understand many of the concerns of the neighbors, and I concur with a lot of what Lou had to say as well. In the end, I do believe that it complies with our regulations. And of course, in a perfect scenario, there would be sidewalks and more space. But given the applications and the facts before us, yes.
Okay, so that is approved, and we are now done with our public hearings.
Excuse me, Madam Chairman, if I could interrupt 1 second. I have to recuse myself from the next hearing. I also have to recuse myself from any discussion on the zoning violation matters. And I was not at the last meeting, so I can't vote on the minutes, so I'm going to sign off.
Okay, good night. Good night, Richard.
Thank you.
So far as I'm aware on our agenda, although I may have an earlier version of the agenda, the next thing is acceptance of minutes. Right?
No, there's the,
No, we have one more item.
The George Street.
Would you like
remind-
me to,
The Greek
St.
Orthodox
George's.
Church.
would you like me to read it, Galen? I think I've got a more up-to-date one.
Please do.
Sure. So next is review and action on applications, 2025 SP modification, St. George Greek Orthodox Church, 238 West Rocks Road. Request to modify existing special permit to add a new pavilion building for storage and outdoor kitchen. Report and recommended action. I'll pass it off to whoever is the applicant representing St. George Greek Orthodox Church.
Yeah, they do have two.
Hi, good evening, all. My name. Yes.
Go ahead.
Good evening. John Stanidis, President of the Parish Council of St. George Greek Orthodox Church, along with Father Nicholas Pasuris, our presiding priest. So, as the cover letter stated, the project, the lead is on a cultural trip right now, so he's not able to attend, so I'm covering his behalf. The project is a dual-use pavilion, as the cover letter stated. I don't know if you've seen the site plan to facilitate the conversation, but it's an existing area that's currently used to support our annual festival and also to store two large metal containers that use the equipment for the festival. I could share my screen to facilitate the conversation if you like. So,
Please do. Yes.
the project was, again, this is coming from storage and to be used for festival, which we run annually. It's been running for over 40 years, with the exception of COVID. We've reached out to a fellow Greek Orthodox parishioner, John Stevens, who architected the pavilion that you see in this view, which is the front view adjacent to the right of the community center. To ensure that the architecture aligns with the current community center, we didn't want it to not blend with the existing structure. The location of I'm assuming you can see my screen. The location of the proposed area is where we currently hold, if you've ever attended our festival, we have provisions there for electric and gas, and we keep our cooking equipment here along with adjacent tents for pastries, etc. So this area is used annually for the festival, and at other times as well. There's provisions in this area here. The engineering of this, and so the architecture is John Stevens. Again, the goal was to make sure that we don't want an unsightly structure where we already have those two containers, which were moved off property to one of our parishioners' property, but he had to do development, so they had to be brought back temporarily. This structure will facilitate two huge things. One, the removal of those two large containers, and will also significantly facilitate in the breakdown and setup of the festival. It's very labor intensive. We're all volunteers, and moving the equipment out of storage and back into storage, literally a week and a half, 2 weeks of effort with a lot of manual labor. That's it in a nutshell. The zoning regulations and review to ensure that we comply with all zoning was done by Andy Similidis, principal at Landtech, the PE. It's also in the cover letter. I could show you some additional details if you'd like to see about the structure. It is going to be sitting on a concrete slab as a metal structure. The metal structure was chosen just for cost. Cost is critical, and also getting it up in a timely manner. Ideally, we'd like to have this facility built for September, but that is extremely low probability based on the fact that we're in July now and we're getting quoted 60-day lead times at the earliest for the metal structure. So soon we can pour a slab but that was the original plan. There's two garage overhead doors that intend to have the equipment behind it, so you can open up the doors and immediately start serving. And the area is large enough to also serve for storage of the equipment. That's it at an overview level. Any specific questions or any details that I forgot to admit? Father, if there's anything else you'd like to add to this?
John, can I can do it if you don't have the ability. Do you have the site plan you could bring up?
I do have the site plan. I thought I showed it for a second. So here is a site plan. I can zoom into any area if you wish. I can orient you also. Obviously, this is West Rocks Road. Here is Main Street up here. Here is the church, St. George. The community center is right here. And the new area will be in this area right here.
Mr.
What you
Estlin,
see dotted here are the
what is
setbacks.
behind the new structure you're proposing, where your cursor currently is?
In this area here?
No, beyond the property line behind you.
There is a residence directly in this area here.
I can bring up an aerial photo if you need it.
And
yeah,
has the
if you
church had a
could.
conversation with that property owner?
I don't know the answer to that. I don't believe so, but I can't answer definitively. Again, the project lead is on a cultural trip to Greece. I don't know, Father, if you know the answer to that question.
No, I do not. But there is a fact between us and them that was a condition of the original permit.
Right. Yeah. I thank you for bringing that up, Father. So this area here has fir trees, and then in this area here, there's wooden, large wooden picket fence. I'd say about 6 feet high. I don't know the exact type, the kind of fence you cannot see through. This was part of, as Father pointed out, this is a requirement when we got the permit to build a community center.
And how far does the fence extend?
The fence extends all the way down around the perimeter and down to West Rocks Road.
All right, but
on this side up here, there's fir trees, not a fence. So from, I may get the direction, I think from the Iron Pipe, Father, if I can misspeak, please correct me. So from this point up to Bain Street is fir trees.
There is fence too.
Okay.
And Steve, what we're deciding here is whether this requires us to go to public hearing or not?
Correct. So it's up to you to determine whether this can be done. The church obviously is a special permit use in the zone, and they've had special permit in the past with the different uses on the site. You just need to decide whether this is consistent with that, or if you feel that this is a significant enough change that it would require basically a new hearing to get input from the neighbors.
Steve, how do we handle that? Are we going to take a vote on all those who?
Yeah, unfortunately, we don't have a resolution for you, but I think you could just someone could make a motion to accept this as, a minor change, not requiring a hearing, and then vote on that. If it's determined that a hearing is required, then they would have to, proceed with notice to the neighbors, and we'd get them on to a subsequent agenda.
Okay, good. Okay, does anybody want to make a motion to that effect? That this does not require a public hearing? Steve did better than I did.
Sorry, Galen, I'm still not clear whether the neighbor to the back would need to be notified, 5 Bain Street neighbor.
John, could you stop sharing, and I'll pull the aerial picture up, and just to get them a sense.
Sure.
Give me 1 second. So this is the approximate location back here. So there's two neighbors. Well, yeah, I mean, there's nobody directly behind the building. There's this house has the pretty long driveway that goes in the back. And then this other house off, which is a little closer to the street, off the same driveway. So those are really the only, I would say, two that have direct impact. If anything, I think the considerations are is that, you know, they've been doing this festival for a very long time. So it's, you know, part and parcel to what happens in the neighborhood. Is this really any kind of change? Will this add any more intensification to or impacts on those properties? I think that's really the question.
There are trees behind where this addition is going, right?
Yeah, it's hard to say. So there is screening back here. I don't know if I'm going to be able to get like a great view of what that actually is, but see if I can spin it. Nope, wrong way. Yeah, and the street view is not going to help with that.
Mr.
If I may interject, there is, yeah, if I may interject, if I'm able to speak, there is definitely screening, either the picket fencing or fir trees. As I made note of, as I mentioned before, this was a requirement to be in compliance with the community center permit.
Is this new storage shed only going to be used in the context of this festival?
Primarily in the context of this festival. We may want to use it other times too, if we would say we have something like an express festival, which based on the last couple of years, I think we did once or twice, Father, correct me if I'm wrong, per year. But yeah, that's primarily that, and yeah. And we have a problem with storage, as Mr. Kleppen knows very well. And this is and the equipment that's for the festival is an issue. It's always you got to constantly move it around. It's been a challenge. So we figure this will kill two birds with one stone. Significantly, ease the burden of setup and takedown, and not have to put the equipment to protect from the elements in storage containers, which we agree are on site. In fact, there you go. You can see the storage containers. This area right there, that adjacent to it, is the existing, has all the provisions for the festival. You'll see to the left of the containers. Mr. Kleppen, if you could show them with your mouse right there. That's where this, yes, right there is where it's going to be a little bit lower. Yeah. Right there, yes. And you can see, if I share my site plan, you can see by the distance from the center where it's going to be.
Mr. Aslanidis, is the interior of your community center complete now?
Yes, this complete is operational.
Okay.
We have coffee hour there every Sunday after church. You're welcome to join us. Yes.
How many square feet is this building?
Approximately 1,144 square feet. I can share again. We can look at some details if it facilitates the conversation.
Okay.
Let me share again.
And the facade is metal. Is there a color of metal that you're looking at?
So the architect, John Stevens, wanted, we didn't want an eyesore. We put this community center, we wanted to match. The beautiful thing about the metal structure, it could be dressed as elaborately, or it's easy to put a facade on there. In answer to your question, I'm not quite sure. I could look to see what the detail has on there for it.
The same as the community center, John.
Okay, thanks.
Okay, so there's the answer.
Okay, thank you.
Galen, are you still looking for a motion?
Yeah.
I'm happy to make the motion to not have this be a special session, a special permit application, public hearing.
Is there a second?
I'll
And then-
second that I think we can do this administratively. It seems to be a relatively small impact.
Right. Okay, do we want to, Steve, do you want to do a roll call or do a show of hands?
However you want to proceed is, I think, is fine with me. I guess, Michelle, if you could.
Why don't we do a roll call? Then there'll be no question.
Okay. Let's see. And
John
just want to
Testis,
confirm.
stop sharing the screen.
Yeah, who's ever sharing, please stop. Thanks. Who's seated, Madam Chair, before I start?
Could you reiterate what we're voting on, please?
Voting on this being approved administratively versus having to require a new hearing.
Administratively now.
Yes, then we
Okay.
would issue a
And so
zoning.
a yes vote would be in favor of approving this application now without a public hearing.
Correct, and then
Okay.
they would have to get a zoning permit and building permits down the road.
Okay, thank you. Just wanted to make sure I know what we were voting on.
To build off that, just for clarification, there's a separate vote that'll be needed to approve it administratively, right? That's a separate piece.
No, I think that's what this,
Okay.
this is.
Okay, now I understand, and I'm still good with my second.
I
Thank
think
you.
both Diana and Anna will be seated.
Oh, because Dick left. Okay, gotcha. Okay, I'll start if you're ready. Ms. Jordan Byron,
Yes.
Mr. Williams,
Yes.
Ms. Stepachnik,
No.
Ms. Lingalis,
Yes.
Mr. Schulman.
This is another one where I have some mixed feelings. I hate to cut the public out on our decision-making process on the one hand. On the other, to the extent there's impact from the building, I think it's mitigated by the building itself. You won't have noise because you won't have additional noise because the building will keep that from happening. So in this particular case, I'm comfortable voting yes.
Mr. Bryce,
Yes.
Mr. Cantor,
Yes.
Ms. Lankowski,
Yes.
and Ms. Wells.
Yes.
Okay, it's approved.
Okay. Good. Now I have the right agenda.
Thank you very much.
When I saw the email, I didn't understand that it was going to be added to the agenda. So I apologize for having the wrong agenda. But now we are down to the acceptance of minutes. Is there a motion to accept the minutes of June's?
I'll make the motion, Gillen. I read them and they were fine to me.
Okay.
I'll second.
Okay, all those in favor, raise your hand. All those opposed? Okay. The
I have to
minutes are-
abstain. I wasn't there.
Yeah.
I don't think I was there.
Oh,
And
yes.
I'm abstaining too because I came at the end.
At the
Okay.
very end.
Yes, and very, very end. Okay, so there were 2 abstentions and the rest have voted to accept. Okay, comments of director?
Just wanted to check in how everybody was doing with their city emails and who has not gotten that
Right.
done yet, who needs assistance.
I'm delinquent. Sorry.
Yeah, and I need to make an appointment.
Okay.
I did what I
Okay.
was supposed to do, but the city didn't respond.
Oh,
I'm
did you
not
send
going
an
to call
email?
myself a
Anna?
delinquent. I CC'd Brian this afternoon and IT did respond asking for my phone number, but then they didn't call me.
Oh, all
So
right.
I just
Hey.
don't want to be lumped in with Nick.
That's bad company,
Right.
Anna. I wouldn't either.
Can I come into City Hall and speak with someone directly?
Yeah, I want just make sure you have a date and time set so you don't come in and then told they're not available. So yeah, if you
Right.
want to, follow the email that they said, if you have trouble, let me know and I'll connect you with somebody there.
Steve, what's happening with our desktops? Like, I don't understand the point of, I mean, I'm fine with coming in, but like, why are we coming in? If we have a desktop, we can't bring our desktop in.
No, I think you don't necessarily have to have the desktop, but if you had a laptop or something, if you're not sure how to install or get access to the email, how that's going to handle, but that's more on the IT end than on my end.
Just to share.
But we're allowed
my
to use it on
experience.
a desktop. Oh,
Yeah,
yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, just to share from my experience, they had me reset the password and then sign up for multi-factor. So you'll just need a mobile device for a secondary code and to reset the password for the account. And then you can log in with a browser from any device, so long as you have those two pieces. So you don't need to lug your desktop or your laptop. You just need your phone.
And remind me why we have to be at City Hall to set up MFA and do a password?
I don't know. That's what IT said.
Curious, just curious. Okay, I'll go.
Chapin, I have a city email already because I got one when I was working with the registrar's office before the last election when there was chaos there. But I don't know how to get it so that I can access it from my computer, not a city computer. Can you walk me through that? I'll bet you could walk me through that.
Yeah, I'm not sure actually, but IT could probably help with that a bit more. So I'm not sure how much like how it works on their end. But I've been accessing it through a browser, so just on like Outlook.com. Like that's how I've been reaching it.
They put a separate Outlook on my my phone and my iPad. They wouldn't use the Outlook that was on there. They put a separate, so I have to go into a separate Outlook to access the city email.
Maybe I got special treatment.
So yeah, hopefully we'll try to transition next month into just using those emails and go from there. So that'll hopefully.
Okay. Because I'm delinquent. I haven't done it yet. I guess it'll be more of it. I thought it would be. Okay, are there comments of commissioners? Tammy's ready to go home.
I just got this nice thing from Wegmans in the mail. Anybody else get that?
Yeah,
Yes.
I've received one.
I
did.
got free Wegmans stuff at Sono Saturday. I got a whole bunch of snacks and
Oh, wow.
Wanna say
bags and what?
Oh no, I was gonna add on the Wegman stuff, so I'll let you finish.
Yeah, no. They gave out a lot of stuff.
Oh,
Excited.
Steve, the opening of Wegmans is my birthday.
oh
I'm
wow.
just saying there's an opportunity to do something cool here.
Mhm.
Have a good time. I'd say
Maybe
go
we should
in.
have our meeting at
I'm
Wegmans.
just
Have a
gonna leave that out
party.
there for you, Steve. Like we can do like a solar tour, we can have some cake, we can make a thing of it. I mean, only if you really
Take
want
pictures by that really big sign.
What
to.
day
We
is
can do
that?
anything you want, Anna.
The
It's a
23rd.
Thursday, the 23rd.
Oh, I was gonna
It's a
say, I think I'm gonna
Wednesday.
be away.
It's a
Yeah.
Wednesday.
I might be
Wednesday,
s-
Thursday. I don't know what date times are anymore. Sorry, Tammy.
That's okay. I'm looking at the July calendar.
Move.
That's
we
all I had, sorry.
adjourn.
Motion, second the motion.
All in favor.
All those in favor? Okay, we are adjourned.
Have a good
Have a
night.
good
everyone.
night.
Bye.
Good night.
Happy 4th.